have Rose Macias here with me live, and she is a wealth manager powerhouse. And we're going to have the best time here in letting you know how you can really make money work for you instead of having you work for the money. Is that cool? Rose?
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me here. I'm so excited to be not only in California, but in downtown Hollywood having this conversation with you. Yeah.
Check that out.
Awesome.
Wow. Okay, so let's start with you. Tell us about you, and I'll be speaking to my Hispanic audience as well, so we'll be weaving back and forth, ¿verdad? Les voy a decir, le voy a presentar Rose Macias, y ella trabaja en que el dinero trabaje por usted y no usted trabaje por el dinero. Así es que, Rose, tell us about yourself.
Well, I am Latina, believe it or not, and I wish I did have a little bit better in my Spanish language, but unfortunately, being fourth-generation Mexican-American, that didn't quite get delivered to me. But instead of using that as an excuse, I've built a division where I have people that speak proper Spanish to deliver the same message that hopefully we will be delivering to you today. I'm originally from the Inland Empire, born and raised, and I did not grow up with everything in life like so they say in other predicaments, but because of that, it got me to really work hard at a very, very young age, seeing a lot of different financial burdens from my single mother, getting laid off and cutbacks and divorce and market crash and illness was the biggest financial burden. I was always out there looking for an opportunity, and I didn't want to go into too much student loan debt knowing my mother couldn't afford it. So as like my co-host here, she actually started working at a young age too, and so did I. And my first paycheck went to my mother, and it was something that was embedded in my soul to do more for not only me but for everybody in my family. And now it's got me to think bigger about what I'm going to do for this world and what we're going to do for women. Teaching, what happens when these financial burdens happen out there, like loss of a family member or illness or market crash. I mean, all three of those are the biggest financial burdens out there, and I teach that now in my business, and I'm thankful for being that child that got to see all of that, because now I have a personal one-on-one, physically, emotionally passionate about teaching people the other ways to not have to go through that. So it's been exciting.
That's great.
Yeah.
Rose está hablando de que cuando ella se estaba creciendo, que ella tuvo que trabajar cuando estaba bien joven para ayudarle a la mamá. Y esa es la historia de muchos de nosotros que estamos trabajando bien temprano. Yo estaba trabajando de 14 años, y así es que para ayudar a mi mamá, porque ella no podía darme cosas, yo tenía que trabajar para yo comprar mis cosas. Así es que Rose está hablando de su juventud y que ahorita ella puede hacer las cosas que ella quiere porque ella trabajó y ella estaba en programas que el dinero puede trabajar para ella y no ella trabajar por el dinero.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Beautiful.
So tell me, you talk about your childhood, and you talk about where you are, and tell me some of the journeys, some of the harsh times, or some of the great times that you had. Talk about your strengths and weaknesses in that journey.
Sure. Well, because maybe you guys can relate through the video right now. Having to be a strong one in your family, and if that's you, I'm talking to you right now. We kind of get chosen, whether we like it or not, to be the strong person in my family. So, because of that, it allowed me to really take ownership in my own family at a young age, and it was exciting. But at the same time, I did go through, not knowing if I could really do it. And if any of you have ever been in a moment where your life where you kind of get this mission handed to you, and you don't know if you're big enough to do it or if you're good enough, but really it's about eternalizing that and telling yourself that you are good enough no matter what people say about you, no matter what your circumstance, where you grew up, how much money your family has or doesn't have. It's all about your passion and your desire to want to get there. Ever since I was a little girl, I was always very, very competitive. Growing up with nothing but boys, I always wanted to be number one when I'd play in sports. I always wanted to show my mom that I was working hard. I really, really wanted to get, my mom's support. She was my biggest cheerleader. I was a goalie growing up. So, that tells you a lot about my spirit. Being a goalie in soccer, you have some mental toughness, knowing that it's your face against the ball.
You gotta stop.
Right? So I'm thankful for that, because now being in a very male-dominated industry, I've been able to declare kind of a mental toughness and say, hey, women, we gotta know what's going on with our economy. For instance, we're 53% of the United States vote right now. We have decisions in our country, but yet we're still 87% of poverty, which means there's something that is not being taught to us. And that's what I do in Deliverance. But if I didn't have all my childhood ways that I grew up to, compete and to, I got bullied a lot. This person that you see today is definitely not where I was before. I was a tomboy. I got bullied in school. I had spots on my teeth. I used to wear, tight ponytails. They had to be straight. I grew up in a Latino community, so I used to wear like Nike Cortezes, and I would try to blend in, even though I was the blonde one in the school. But I'm thankful for that, because it got me to humble myself. Now having wealth, now having a legacy of my own, being able to retire my mom and be able to fund her financially. What women do you know that are really doing that right now? How many women want to? How many people want to in general? So I appreciate the adversities and the things that I've gone through, and you should too, because all of those people, all of those things that have either gone out of your way or not the way you expected, is to make you stronger. And if you ever pray for God to make you stronger, then He's going to give you a lot of turmoil to make sure that you're constantly getting stronger.
Right. Don't
as
pray
you go.
For patience, right?
Yeah, don't pray for patience.
Okay. So Rose está hablando de que cuando ella se creció y está hablando de haciendo una mujer, y ella tuvo que hacer más trabajo que los varones. Y ustedes saben que si usted se ha creado en una familia latina, que los hombres son los que la mamá dice, wow, yo y mi hermana hacíamos todo el trabajo, y mis hermanos, mi mamá decía, no los preocupen porque son varones, están sufriendo mucho. Así es que Rose está hablando de todas esas experiencias que la ha fortalecido y que la ha hecho más fuerte a ella. Así es que, mujeres, noten lo que está hablando Rose, que es verdad para usted. Okay? So I was telling the audience that, take heed, women, that, your weaknesses can make you into a powerhouse for the future, because when you learn, you become a model to those that you're teaching. And you know what, when you become a model, then you're worthy to be followed. And that's what Rose is talking about. So take heed, young woman, mature audience like myself, take heed of what Rose is saying, because it's absolutely truth in what she's saying.
Well, think about one of the biggest women icons in the entire world is Oprah Winfrey, and there's so many people that don't really know her story, that she was raped multiple times by family members, and she had a baby at 14 that passed away, and her siblings passed away traumatically through drugs and depression, and all of that happened before the age of 30, and yet she was still able to become a millionaire by the age of 30, because she used all of that she went through to empower others, and she started to do community events and charity events and speaking into different engagements, churches, delivering a message of, doesn't matter what you come from, you can be somebody, you can make a difference in this world. So it was funny when I finally got to really learn her story. I was in a moment in my career where I was speaking at schools for free and going to spoke at a domestic violence group for women, and I was motivating them on, taking control of their wealth, and I was doing all of these things for free because I have a vehicle. My company pays me well. I don't have to necessarily charge people to deliver a message, and it's special. Most people fail in business because they put so much money up front and they don't have enough, liquid money coming to them to be able to really spread their mission. So to be able to have a vehicle like in the financial industry that pays me whether I'm there or not, because I've done so much in the industry, it's a blessing to be able to use that money to fuel a bigger calling, which is getting out there and spreading the word of financial education, and not just in the market, but what happens when those things happen. And us women, I mean, we're the last people to think about ourselves. I mean, we save for everybody else, we save for our families, we we'll bend over backwards for the person crossing the street, and we'll give back, and we'll do all of these things that give back, but we never ever think about our 65-year-old self. And whether we like it or not, hey, men die earlier and we get paid less in this country, so we should probably be a little bit more aware about what is really happening with our husband and where he's saving his money, and vice versa. It needs to be a platform. So when people ask me what I do, I say I cure marriages and I lower the suicide rate.
That is so awesome. And I have to say to you that, again, I have to echo what Rose is saying, is because your work will come out of your deepest pain. And what I used to tell my students is that, when you were born, the mole was thrown away. So there will be never anyone like you. So if you don't complete your work, guess what? That work won't be completed. So I am talking to the women out there and the men as well, but I'm talking to the women that if you don't complete the work that was laid out before you, and it could be your deepest pain, then no one will complete that work, because there's no one like you.
It's true.
So get up and do what you've been called to do. Right now, if you've been toiling with, should I do this? Should I not? Should I start this business? Should I go further? Should I rank up? Whatever business that you're at, whatever startup, whatever network marketing, whatever you're choosing to do, be the best mom, be the best wife, whatever, take up and take notice and do it. Take action. And that's what Rose is telling you to do.
Yes, not only to chase your passion, right? But be financially educated, ladies. Don't get me wrong, we can do this Tony Robbins, hoorah, chase it, be passionate, woo, get you inspired. But you gotta know not to get played out there, ladies, because we're the first one to sign up for loans with high interest rates. We're the first one to save conservatively. We're not risky individuals, so we don't quite have the backbone of the financial information. So if I could teach anything today across this video, is no matter what you do, ladies and gentlemen, you have to keep up with inflation. Mm-hmm. It's the single most important topic there
Can
is.
I hear an amen to
and
that?
Yet it's only taught in 11th grade econ class as a definition.
Maybe.
It's not maybe. So, and think about it. I mean, out of all of our 50 states, right? There's so many states. There's 37 states that teach sexual education, but only 3 or 4 states that teach financial education. They wonder why there's so many pregnant people in this country so early compared to people that are actually maintaining wealth. And right now we have 50% of the baby boomers, right, that have nothing saved to their name. They're only living off of Social Security. And if you know anything here in the States, you know that Social Security has been negative for quite some time, depreciating, and there's something that needs to be taught to the next generation.
It's just not there.
Yeah, and so there's something that needs to be taught to the next generation and the following, because if we don't start breaking an awareness now about that, what's happening to the baby boomers is going to happen again and again and again until somebody breaks the awareness of chasing inflation and keeping up with it and understanding how it works. And it doesn't matter where you come from. You can know that. And I'm a company. I'm someone. I have multiple people in my divisions, hundreds of thousands of people in my company that are all about the mission of free financial education.
Oh my gosh.
You'd be surprised when you get back when you do stuff for free these days.
Oh my gosh. Well, the thing is that 2 things that come to mind. One, that I know this powerhouse couple, and they were successful before in another company, and they talk about that, yes, they made $1 million, but they spent $1.5 million of it. So they were in the hole, yet they were successful, but they didn't have avenues to where that money worked for them. So that's key. And then there's another story where, so sorry about that. I'm so sorry. I thought I had turned off my phone, but
true entrepreneur, see? Always going.
Multitasking. Women know how to multitask. All right. So another story that comes to my mind, my grandson, his econ teacher, she said to me last year, she says, you know what? She goes, I'm not going to follow the curriculum. I go, what? What are you going to do? And she said, I'm going to take them on a game of Monopoly, real life. I'm going to give them situations. I'm going to do life with them. I'm going to do all kinds of stuff with them. My whole being just exploded, and I said, are you kidding me? Oh my gosh, the experience that my grandson's going to have. And lo and behold, he's doing it. He's planning his little budget. He's saving. And my little grandma, let me tell you about my little grandma. She, back in the day, she had her little suitcase, and she had money in that suitcase, okay? And so if I needed money, she would lend it to me. So, the same concept. So I taught my 3 adult children how to save, and they have a good savings account. They do. They have more than mama.
Oh, that's
and
good.
Then my grandsons are learning the same thing. So you hand down those things that are taught to you. So I thank God for my little grandma, and what Rose is telling you is key. It's just absolutely key.
I appreciate that. Yes, it's just the way it's delivered, right? I know financial topics can get weary. The biggest thing of what I teach people, especially people that are learning or getting mentored by me, that, people are not selling or not buying the products or the services. They're buying you. They're buying how much you're saving. Right. They're buying how you walk every single day. And my motto is faith, family, business. And in that order, is my faith right? Is my family right? Right? And then the last thing I think about is my business and my team, right? And having that well-balanced life does come along with business, right? But I do know that if my finances weren't in order, everything else can kind of get McBobbulated.
Absolutely.
There's like 2 different types of diseases in this country. There's the illness and, getting out of it and drinking the right water and eating the right food. And then there's once I'm healthy, what do I think about? Right. Saving money, making money, and taking care of my family. Yeah. So there's 2 different cures here, right? And, in 5 years from now, I would love to have a women's tour. We're working on it right now, where we want to have women from different industries. So a health expert, a parenting expert, a marriage expert, a financial guru, maybe someone from a social working background, right? And networking.
I think I've hung up my hat to get more contribution.
It doesn't matter what she thinks, right? She has so much more of a vision, and I'm all about helping women just not only help here in the United States, but nationally. And this tour I see going all around the world, teaching women how to build businesses in the United States that don't go into inventory, that don't have a lot of overhead, that you understand how much taxes you're going to pay at the end, like all this financial stuff that nobody really thinks about. Yeah. So I'm excited for that. And then we also have a women empowering event coming next week. Please
talk about the event.
Yes, next week. Next week we have a women's...
I'm going.
Yes, she's going.
You will see me there.
A Women's Entrepreneur Summit. I was able to get 4 dynamic women that are going to be representing from being a business coach. I have an online media marketing specialist that's going to be there. I have a woman who's on the Women's Chamber of Commerce for the United States coming. I also have a financial advisor that comes from a social working background, African-American guru, right? That's going to be on the panel. And then I have
diversity. Wow.
And then I have a Filipino woman who's going to be coming speaking about John Maxwell and what he does for leadership development. And then I'm going to come in with the hoorah, but also the tangible financial education, and then hopefully be networking with a bunch of women and lift off your businesses to where you're not going into financial burdens your first year just to declare your business and to get out there and make a difference.
And you can find out more information. We have put it up on the screen, and if you don't get to that, then you can also go on our website and tell us you want more information, and we'll give it to you so you can register. You do not want to miss this event if you're in the Inland Empire or the surrounding surfaces.
I have women coming from Simi Valley. I have women from Palos Verdes Estates. I have women from Palm Springs, all coming. That's why it's in the IE, because they're coming from all different angles.
That's great.
It's amazing.
So, en terminar, estamos hablando aquí que cómo su dinero puede trabajar con usted. Y tenemos un evento que va a ser en el Inland Empire. Vamos a poner la información para que ustedes puedan llegar, porque necesitamos mujeres de todas áreas, y esperamos, yo voy a estar allí, Rose va a estar allí, ella va a ser una de las presentantes y tiene muchas mujeres que van a venir. Así es que le estoy hablando a ustedes, mujeres jóvenes, mujeres como yo, que están maduras, ¿verdad? Y también todos los hombres también necesitamos. No solo es para las mujeres, pero son los hombres también. Así es que muchas gracias por estar con nosotros en el show Martha Gibson. Y esperamos que la otra vez estén con nosotros para decirles otras cosas. Thank you so much for joining us.
She's
Thank
amazing.
You, Rose.
Oh my
Thank
goodness.
you.
So nice to meet you.
Thank you.
So
I am
much.
so happy she was with us. Bye.
Introducing Hilo, the world's first health and lifestyle oracle, a real-time health monitoring device unlike any other wearable device on the planet. Hilo can monitor the most important measurements, including heart rate, blood pressure, breath rate, daily steps, calories burned, and Hilo can even perform an EKG. Hilo can also sense your mood if you're excited or even if you're fatigued. Paired with the latest smartphone application, you can now track the health and well-being of your loved ones. Imagine being able to monitor your aging parents even if you're thousands of miles away, or getting an alert if your spouse's blood pressure is too high. Hilo not only monitors your important measurements, but it produces a daily, weekly, and monthly health report that you can provide to your trainer or physician. In the near future, Hilo will be able to monitor blood sugar levels, alcohol levels in our blood, oxygen levels, temperature, and even keep disease-delivering mosquitoes away. But Hilo is more than the world's most advanced health monitoring device. Hilo can also alert you if your loved ones are in danger. Unfortunately, more and more women and children go missing each day, according to the FBI. With Hilo, a child walking home from school can now press the panic button twice, and his or her Hilo guardians can be sent an emergency alert via text, notifying their guardians that they need help. And what's amazing is that the guardians will get the exact GPS location of their loved one. Let's take a look at another scenario. What if you're taking a walk around your neighborhood and you sense danger lurking? Having that peace of mind to simply alert your loved ones can be a lifesaver. Now that you've seen the power of this revolutionary product, I'm positive you're ready to order one for you and your family members. However, Hilo is not found in stores. Hilo can only be purchased online. So click on the Buy It Now link or fill out our form to get more information about the Hilo right now.